and welcome back to Soccer Supernova, a State of Mind's dedicated football chat show. Today I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Scott BONAR and Ryan Grant of Haddington Athletic. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Good.
All good, yeah.
Fantastic. Let's get into it. You have been here a few times now, but Scott, for anybody who doesn't know, tell us a little bit about you and your story with Haddington Athletic up till now.
Well, I joined Haddington about 4 seasons ago. I just took over the manager's role at the start of the season. So put a lot of the foundations in the previous 3 seasons, and this year we're starting to see the fruits of that labour. So the team's doing really well. They're on an undefeated run. It's seemingly the best start of a season that Haddington's had since it was formed. But not only that, we've done well last year as well. So I think it's 1 defeat in 25 games or something like that. So everything's gone well now, eh? So and we've just played in the Scottish Cup on Saturday, obviously, but it's gone well just now.
Absolutely. So, Ryan, talk to us as well. You're new to this. How did this all come around?
Scott being Scott phoned me. I think I'd said the last time we were on at 11 o'clock at night. Can you help me out tomorrow? I've just taken over the job at Haddington, so me being me, got the bug. Yeah, I'll come down, give you a hand, mate. Then 6 weeks on, got the new tracksuits on, and we're still winning games. So yeah, good.
Ambitions, obviously, Scott, you've outlined them many a time before, but it helps when it's on a winning start to the season. How impressed are you with your guys? Obviously, you've known them for a while now, like you say, but they're really starting to, the fruits to the labour are really coming into play.
Well, see, the first couple of seasons, it was hard as well. We had some really poor results. We were drawn against teams at the bottom of the league, or maybe win a game, then we were losing 3 games. Like the first couple of years, I think we lost 51 goals and then 57 goals in the second season. And I says, like, you can't keep, if you want to achieve anything, you can't get, it doesn't matter if you score 100 goals there. If you lose that amount of goals, you're going to be middle of the table, or you're not going to achieve anything. So I was banging on about working on certain things and that. So I managed to get that put across to the players, and then obviously as you move on, the players change as well. So we've been through, and I say that at the start as well, like to become a team that wants to win things, you've got to experience failure first, become true winners. So we certainly had our fair share of that. So the players that have came through that now, their confidence is just exploding week after week. And in October, we say at the start of October, it's a massive month in general for the whole club, because we had obviously the Scottish Cup, we had Dunbar in a cup, and then we were meant to play Leith, but we had the replay on Saturday. So they've came out of the 3 weeks unscathed, and you can just see the whole club's exploding now, and even all the kids, and we're engaged. Like obviously after Saturday's game, we had a few refreshments in the local pubs, but the whole place was like buzzing, and they're all talking about the team and that as well, seemingly, which hasn't happened for a few years. But then if the crowds can continue to grow as well, like it helps the local economy and that as well. So that's what we were saying on Saturday. We want the whole community to get behind the club, and it'll help the whole town as well. So that's what the ambitions are and the vision is for the future.
Absolutely, the refreshments were merited. So these are obviously still your first few steps into senior management. How are you finding it?
Well, I've been coaching, managing, if you like, for 20 years now. I was at Hearts for 5 years as well. So, and then I've had a few teams now in the youth football that have been successful, won Scottish Cups, won like loads of things. But and I run Portobello, so you're managed like 300 parents, which isn't easy. So to try and manage 18 players, like, is a wee bit easier, eh? But when I first came into adults football, like, I'm still learning now, I'm learning all the time, but I just wanted to come in, just like coach and just absorb everything and absorb how the players go about it and what that sort of level's like. A lot of them talk about money, but we've sort of tried to eradicate that at our club, because we want it to be that the laddies play for the love of the game and like play for each other, because you're not going to get life-changing money playing at that level. So if you can create an environment that they're all thriving in and things like that, that's what try to create. But I'm under no illusions there'll be harder times. It's all right when you're winning, but if you can keep managing the group and they keep wanting to play for each other and it keeps going the way it is, then I can only see things getting better rather than going backwards, and with the teams that I've had before, it doesn't matter what level, it's hard to get people to play, and once you break the back of it, just takes off.
Ryan, Scott touched upon it there. It is all about the love of the game, and that's how you really keep these young guys all together. You're obviously a player yourself at Haddington, so you've now made that switch. How much can you impose that onto the guys? It does have to be at the centre of the love of the game.
It is, as Scott says, the money you're going to get at this level's not going to pay your mortgage. It might get a new pair of boots or something like that, or a new tracksuit as we go on about quite a bit. But it's just the fact that they're enjoying it and coming out and working hard. They've got a job during the week, coming out and training hard Tuesday, Thursday, and getting that bond. And these friendships are made for life as well, and that's where the love of the game comes from. And certainly the love of the game winning on Saturday's a big bonus as well, and it keeps the guys together.
But the one thing money can't buy is games. So these laddies are coming, they've played now since they're 16, 17, 18. You can't buy 200 games. Whereas you can see other clubs are maybe going and bought a young striker or a young defender, and then you see them sitting on the bench for the next 6 weeks, 3 months. Maybe getting yourself an extra X amount of money a week, but if you're not playing football, it doesn't mean anything. Whereas the kids that we've got young kids coming through that are maybe sitting on our bench, but they're only about 16, 17, whereas they're going to get their chance. And then the ones that are getting in the team, by the time they're 20, they've got like 50, 60, 70 games in there, but you can't buy that. And they're still young, and that's what we're saying. They could stay with us till they're 24 and get another 200, and they're still young to go to a bigger team anyway. But we want to create something that can come through now. Like I keep saying it, it's going to be hard. Everything's hard if you want to achieve anything in life, but if you put the effort in, and hard work always gets rewarded, doesn't matter what you do. And they're certainly putting in the hard work for each other. So it's up to us to all keep working hard for each other, and then just see and working Tuesday, Thursday, see where we're going on a Saturday. But in terms of the money thing, you can't buy games. Like you could be sitting there like, I'm getting X amount and running about with this team or whatever it is, but if you've not played for 3 months, it doesn't mean anything, in my opinion.
Absolutely, and you can't buy games, and you can't buy those moments of glory either.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about obviously the last few years, and all these ambitions are all sort of coming into fruition now. But as well as the league is obviously the priority, and everything's going so well so far. But talking about playing Dunbar and Leith, and how much do you value silverware? It's massive for a club like Haddington, and for these guys to really have that opportunity. For
myself, I've got a burning desire to win. I can't describe. So I'm obsessed with football. So I want to. I'm quite a liar. I want to win things, and if it means 1 trophy or 2 trophy or leagues or that, and I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I'll certainly work harder than some people to try and achieve my own ambitions, and I strive for perfection in the performances that we're doing. And so obviously if you reach for the moon and you hit the stars there, then you maybe achieve something. So myself and Ryan, if we can get that ambitions into the players as well, then it could be an exciting future. And for there, obviously being in charge of a boys club and that as well, and then you've got Haddington, our youth section, so we're all going to start working together, and you're going to have this infrastructure of players that like I said before, but I don't think clubs realise the standard that's going to be coming through, and hopefully they're all going to be wearing Haddington jerseys, so then you just want to create a team for one season. We want to create a club that can come through the pyramid system, because as I say, the pyramid system to me means building something, so I'll be here as long as the club want me, and that's what my vision is for the future.
Do you believe the club will give you that time as well? Obviously, you've been a part of it for a long time now, with Joe previously. Do you feel that you've got that sort of foundations there to continue to build, and you've got that backing? Aye,
I think that they've came through the hard part, because there was times when they could have sacked us, but they believed in what we were saying, and by the way, it was harder at that time because you weren't getting results, and it was getting harder to get out of these leagues because the teams were getting better. There's more junior teams coming in, and so hopefully if everything keeps going right, we'll get the time in, and really, because we've not even scratched the surface on how we want them to play. We've just obviously I've been there a wee bit longer and implemented some of my ideas, but now it's totally what we want to put into them, and we can see now like a lot of glimpses of it. So it's all gone well now, Amy.
And as you touched on there, the long term, we've got the guys signed up for 2 seasons now.
Yeah.
We're not just thinking one season, we'll look at it next season. We want to keep the guys together, especially the core of the team. I think we've got everybody re-signed again. So that's a big bonus, that we don't have to be stressed come Christmas. Who's going to come and steal our players? Are guys going to stay? Are they going to go? Because it can be stressful, that side of the game as well, trying to keep guys in. And our guys being honest, I'm going to stay, then they jump ship at the last minute and you're left short in the squad at the start of next season. But we don't have to worry about that next season. We can go in with the same squad, possibly add if something comes up that's going to suit our team. But yeah, we're certainly going the right direction with the long-term side of it.
Ryan, you've had 2 spells with Haddington yourself as well, so you understand that dynamic. If a player, came to you to say, I'm maybe thinking about going, how would you swerve it? How would you keep them to stay? What would you say to them about Haddington?
The way we're playing, and the young guys are getting a chance. Not even got an old team. I think the oldest guy's 28 now, I think, Scott. I think they've only got 1 or 2 at that bracket. So they're all roughly about the 20-22 mark. So they're still learning as we're learning how they are as well. So it's a different social side of it as well with these guys, and we need to learn to adapt to that side of it as well. So waiting and biding their time. Some of the guys who are saying they might not get a chance, they'll still play 25 games during the course of the season. And if you get that at any team, you'd be probably more than happy. You're probably playing roughly about 35, maybe 40 games. Successful in the cuts might stretch on a wee bit more. But they've just got to keep working hard. Come Tuesday, Thursday, that's the key. It's okay saying how am I not getting a game? Well, what are you doing to help yourself Tuesday, Thursday? Are you pushing yourself? Are you looking after yourself when you're away from the football as well? That's massive. So yeah, it's keeping the guys grounded on that side of it and get them to learn week to week as well, as much as we are together.
You spoke about the bug that you got when Scott brought you back.
Yep.
And that's incentive for silverware. It doesn't die just because you're no longer a player. So how much was that a key part for you as well?
Oh, it was massive. It wasn't a case of, can you come and help? As Scott touched on the money side, you could go, well, how much are you going to give me? I'm giving up time. Not even one word spoke about, just can you help me out, mate? Yeah, I'll come down. Then you see the guys and the way they're playing, obviously going into a winning team gives you that extra buzz to get back in. It's always hard to win games, but when you see the quality there, and Scott says, well, we've got a young team, so I was a wee bit worried, because I've been around the junior game for a few years. Sometimes they're scared to play the younger guys consistently. But when I came in, you would never know the age of some of these guys. Some have only played a handful of games at this level, and they're really consistent as well.
But even when I asked Ryan, and obviously we've worked together before, so I wanted to make sure it was the right fit before, so I took a couple of weeks as well. And obviously I know that Ryan's a good guy and everything, but I wanted to make sure that the dynamics of the group, so when I asked him and I was came in the first time in and want to come in again, because we didn't want, you can make the wrong decision. I feel that's a massive decision who you ask to come in with you. And we've got the same enthusiasm, and then we asked Liam to come. Well, I asked Liam to come in as well, so he's younger, so I felt he would bring, because they're a young group, he would bring the dynamics of that and maybe relate to them as well a wee bit better than myself being an old man now. But
speak for yourself.
So and what I was trying to achieve is, it's not just about football sometimes, it's about how you feel it's all right in July and everything, but what's it like on a November night, and if everybody's dour and you're like, they know what to come to training, so we want to create an environment where we can have a laugh, but as soon as training starts or a game starts, everybody kens it's serious, but we want people to go and express themselves, and I am serious with football, I'm not going to lie, but when we're before it and everything, there's a good banter, and it's a special changing room, but it's creating a family feel as well, because I feel like Haddington, when you go in, it's like they're all warm people, all warm individuals. So just say if yourself and that came along and you feel like you want to come back, because there's just something good about the place. Just like there's an atmosphere about it that everybody's welcome in. There's nobody it's no like a big dark cloud over it or anything like that.
No egos about
it. No egos or anything, and it's just, we're on it together and we just try and achieve something together. So that was the environment that I had in my head. So, and as soon as Ryan came in, the players took to him, and I knew myself then. I was like, that was the right decision to make. But yeah, I could have asked somebody to come in and just say the players didn't like them, and then they're like, some of them wouldn't say nothing to you, obviously. But you want to make sure that, because there's the right camaraderie there, and you've seen it after that penalty on Saturday, so that in itself's like the vision that I had of, I know everybody running about Millfield gone mental, but that sort of togetherness,
Absolutely.
The whole community.
That penalty was obviously in the Scottish Cup, so before we get to what's happening this season, let's go right back. Last season it was it was historic. You know, it was Haddington's first time in the Scottish Cup. Scott, you were there. Talk us through what that was like being at the club at that time. So it was a tough process to even get into that initial stage.
And especially with the COVID and everything and all the stresses that was coming with that. So you hadn't been long sitting in the house for months. And the first game was against BSC in the Scottish. So BSC were a good side. You could tell right away, like their movement and everything. But like, I tell the players to believe in themselves in that as well before the game. Like, because what we're doing at training could help us stay in the game. And then the guy goes and scores a great goal for a corner in the first couple of minutes. But we stuck at her like I try to make it like when I first came into this level, nobody had like, and I see it in a lot of teams, like they maybe don't know their job, like their individual jobs. So it's hard to work hard at something if you don't know what you might be doing. So they all had their individual jobs and tasks and they stuck to it, and all that effort coming together, I could see that BSC were saying to themselves, they're actually decent, because we were getting in behind them a couple of times and we passed the ball as well. And then at half time we were getting beat 1-0, and you, as a coach, manager, whatever you want to call us nowadays, but you pour your soul into people. So try to get them to believe that they could do it. In the second half when they came out, it was just frightening. And we actually won the game with, like, I think a lot of people forget, we only had 9 men finishing the game, so like I'm screaming at the sides. And even the scenes there as well, like that was like the start of it as well, and then it's just got better and better. So, and then obviously we had for Martin on Boxing Day, and the guy scored the world day with the last kick of the ball. So, and that's what was hurting the first game against Devonville, was that they scored with the last kick of the ball. But it shows that we've got a mentality now that we can come back for it. So,
going back to that fixture on Boxing Day, and you touched upon it earlier. You know, you can't really get success without having those losses. Did you make sure that the guys knew it was good to hurt after that? Because that's where, like you say, you get your success from. No, definitely. But even before that, we've played BONAR in a semi-final. We got beat at Millfield the season before that. BONAR beat us 4-0. And that, even as a coach, I thought to myself, like, there's nothing I can even do here just now. I just need to keep training them. So I didn't even say nothing negative to them or anything. I said, we just need to come back on a Tuesday. So experience failures, and I'm a great believer in hate to lose, but don't be scared of it, because if you're scared of it, then you're going to play with all that. You're going to play with that fear as well and strangle yourself. So if you're getting beat 2-0, you'll end up getting beat 5-0. So, and if you play with that fear of failure as well, then we wouldn't have been able to grow over the last 4 seasons, because they couldn't accept getting beat. I don't know what they may accept getting like, but if that makes sense, like you've got to, if something bad happens, you've got to accept it, you've got to recognise it, and you've got to learn from it. And if you can't do that, then we're not going to kick on as a club. So that's a big thing, is not being scared of failure. And after the Formartin game, unfortunately, it became COVID again, stop football again. So, but we use these things as well, even with other teams that I've had, like, you use the defeats to motivate them, keep them grounded, no complacency and things like that as well, and then it just grows from there. You know, the Scottish Cup, it's a unique tournament. It is one of a kind in that sort of sense. So when you look at BSC Glasgow, who are obviously now Broomhill, but they had that run just a few years ago against Hibs, you're looking at the history that Formartin have in the cup, and Devonvale as well. Sorry, they've got a fantastic record. So do you take inspiration from that you know Haddington can go on their own sort of epic cup run?
Well, obviously we've got Brecon next, and anything can happen in a one-off game. Anything. It doesn't matter who you're playing. At the end of the day, it's 11v11, and if you obviously need a wee bit of luck. But I'm a great believer you make your own luck through hard work. If you're working hard and they say, he's just got his toe in the end of that and it's went past the post, or somebody's flung themselves at something to score a goal, sometimes that's no luck. That's because you want to be there. That's because you're working hard. You're working hard for each other. So you need that, like, to be fortunate to get in the games, or if somebody hits the bar or something with a chance kind of against you, and then it keeps you in the game, and sometimes you say to yourself, by the way, this has got to be our day.
One thing we do have is a group of players that keep going. They don't know when to stop, and that's the way they train as well. I think the other night, we stopped at 9:10. Been at other clubs before, they're like, it's 9 o'clock, we're finishing now. We're 50 minutes over, they were just still training, probably been there most of the night, to be honest. So it's good within their character, they know just to keep going and going. They don't know any different. It's just in their DNA now, so it's good for us.
Because they didn't play with their ego either.
Yeah.
So try to make them task orientated as a group as well. So they're all like, and this all sounds simple, but it's no, it's really hard to get to that stage, so they're all motivated through their effort. And it has been hard to get to this stage. There's been a lot of like soul searching nights. Like sometimes most nights I think I'm up to about 2-3 in the morning thinking about football, or writing things down, or try to learn, or whatever it is. So hopefully if I can continue to do that, then that can go into the players. But I want the players to go up to Brecon and or not even Brecon, any team, and didn't fear whoever we're playing, and go and enjoy it and thrive in it and be brave, get on the ball, make things happen. And because we say that as well, you're training that hard. Like, why would you go and hide in a game?
Yeah.
Ken, you've trained Tuesday, Thursday, you're standing there in the pouring rain, you've done a 12-hour shift or whatever it is after your work, so why would you want to go in on a Saturday and not want to do your best and hide because of thoughts that you've created yourself that's like strangled your own performance? So if we can continue to get them be mentally strong as well, then, and if you do go and get beat 5-0, all you do is take your medicine and learn from it. And like, I've got a system in place, with doing this for 20 years, so maybe 10 years ago I'd sit and I'd maybe go through certain things that were like pointless, whereas now I can just pinpoint things and just go straight to, I know, an area that can help us improve it. And the good thing is the players have bought into that. It's harder if the players didn't buy into it and they're standing saying, what's he doing now? But they've bought into it and they're putting the effort into everything that we're throwing at them. And even before the Devonville game, we trained 3 nights that week, nobody complained, and then we were away on the Friday night, so they had to get days off their work, so that was intense. Like, and then the Saturday, and so it's obviously been intense with us as well, and we're constantly talking about it, but it was a good bonding session as well. But it was like they were full time that week, and that week in itself as well has brought them together again. And I can only see positives to come out. I mean, there'll be a bad run, but the good thing about when the bad run comes, we know that we're on it together and we can identify things, and like hopefully we can get back out of it quickly. So that's what I see happening anyway when I come up against any adversities.
Ryan, the expansion of the Scottish Cup last year allowed Haddington and Trinent Juniors just down the road as well their first chance to play in the competition. So for you, as a player, obviously never got to do it with Haddington, it's a fantastic opportunity for these guys, isn't it?
Definitely is. I played in the old Junior Scottish Cup, and even those, there's something special playing the Scottish Cup. The build up to the training that week, there's an extra excitement, there's full squads there, guys never miss that week, they're always there pushing themselves. And playing in the real Scottish Cup, as they call it, it's giving yourself a chance to grow as a club as well, and getting the publicity the way we play, and it allows us to batter wits against other teams as well, and that's good for us. We're learning game to game in them as well, because the 2 games against Devonville, the concentration levels we're intense at the best of times, but that was extremely intense. And going into Brecon will be much the same as well. They've got an experienced coaching staff there and an established club over the years, so that's going to be a real good test for us and something we relish, that's for sure. And
that's the beauty as well. If you do well, like obviously we've got Brecon now, who's it's a well-known club as well, and then if anything happens for there, you don't know who's in the next round, you don't know who's sitting where, and I think that's what the excitement is. And it's the higher the round, the bigger the club. It's not like it's familiarity or things like that. The journey can take you anywhere, and all we can do is make sure that they're prepared as possible before we go up there.
Ryan touched on the publicity there, and that's a key bit, because everybody sort of likes having that club to follow, that fairy tale run. So obviously everything you've outlined there, for me, I'd buy into it. But if anybody still wasn't sure why to follow Haddington in this Scottish Cup run, how would you present it to them?
Well, we're in the bottom tier, and we've had a couple of scalps already. The team are exciting to watch. They're young, they're vibrant, playing with enthusiasm. At times we pass the ball really well. At other times we know we hit a diagonal. At times we'll play for the back. We've got variation in what we want to do as well. So we're not naive in thinking that you're just going to have to pass the ball constantly. Like, we do pass the ball, but there is a variation in our game as well. So it's an exciting team to watch. So as the club grows as well, you can even see it on social media. It's getting bigger every week. So it's a good club to follow, I would suggest, at the moment.
Certainly get your £6 worth week to week, that's for sure. And as you touched on the Scottish Cup, we've still got the hard games to come in. We've still got league games before. So grounding the guys, not thinking the Scottish Cup's a be all and end all. You've still got 4 or 5 rounds at the back of that to get to any major final, whether it's Scottish Cup or the East of Scotland Cup. So they need to be grounded on the league side of it and get the guys to the gate for their £6.
You're spot on there, Ryan, and you know, you mentioned obviously the East of Scotland and then obviously the East of Scotland Cup as well. We're at a time right now that there's 4 teams from East Lothian in this next round of the Scottish Cup. You've played in the divisions, you know all these guys inside and out as well. Scott, you used to play at Dunbar United yourself. How great is this? Just for it shows the competitiveness of this side of the league. Yeah,
I don't think they get enough recognition for it, to be honest with you. Certainly for a club further down our way, you know, we're not spending big budgets. We've touched on some of the clubs maybe, but we're relying on the youth guys coming through and Scots connections throughout the years. So it's really competitive with the leagues down there. If you started an East of Scotland Midlothian league where there are other teams round about there, it'd be very, very strong. And they always get through in a few of the cups. They're always thereabouts in the later stages of the local cups as well. So yeah, it's very encouraging.
It was good to see Preston there as well, because Jack's been there for a couple of years as well, and he's doing a good job there as well, and sort of the same restraints as us, so I was delighted to see Preston go up there and Jack getting through, and obviously Trinent done well in it, because that was a hard tie that they had with Pennycook, and we know Big Hainsey and Bunny and that at Dunbar as well, so we were delighted for them as well to get through. So it's great for the area as well, and the crowds at all these games as well. I mean, it's brilliant for the area, because if you're, I'm a Hibs fan, and you go to, like, I've lost that personal touch with Hibs, if you like, when you go to the game and 35 quid for a slice of pizza and things like that, and you're sitting there freezing. And so if you're in the local area, go and support your local team. If the team that you support's away from home, or if they're idle, can get yourself in. Go and take the bairns along as well, because it's real football. That's a big thing. Like, you see, like I keep going on about that, but at Millfield now, the amount of bairns and that are there, but even if they're bored, they can go away and play football. Ken, and they've got the goals set up round the back and things like that, and it's not just like sitting there, like I've done it with my own bairns, and well, you've got to watch this and then you can't watch it, and it's not as enjoyable, whereas go there, let them like fall in love with the game and that as well, and fall in love with it in the community as well, get the community spirit, because I was fortunate enough I was brought up in Germany playing football, so came back over here when I was about 15 or something, but the clubs in Germany, that, like, say Millfield, that's like the focal point of the whole community. Even on a Sunday, like, there would be games on there, they'd be making, like, there'd be hamburgers getting sold and people drinking and things like that. So it's like it's a hub of the community. And where I stayed, it was similar to East Lothian. It was like these sort of, like, small towns like Musselburgh, Trinent and things like that. So it was like, because it was just about half an hour for Dortmund, and that's probably one of the visions I've got, like, to try and create that, because that was my youth playing football. So that's just thinking that now, that's where everything's coming from, because I used to love it myself. And there was a team called Prowse and Verrill as well, so Dortmund would come and play them and things like that, and you'd all be running about and watching all these, like Frank Mullen, Norbert Dicklin, like, they're players that I can remember, and Murdo McLeod and everything. So I know it's a different level, but if the Bairns are, but Prowse and Verrill was like Haddington to us, so I used to look up to their players and think they were the messiah. So it gives the kids something to strive for, especially when you've come out of COVID and that. We need to get people together, like, be more community based, I feel. And if the clubs are the part of that, then that could bring everybody together.
Do you think that's perhaps an issue? This is obviously just slightly touching away from Haddington, but on a wider scale within Scotland, you know, everything talks about that it does start down at grassroots level. It's young boys falling out of love with the game, and Ryan, you'll know that yourself. Is there a totally different model in Europe, you know, in Germany yourself, obviously, that's where your expertise lies?
Like, see, I was saying this, I was talking to somebody for Liverpool in that game, in Dundee United, in that game on Sunday, and it was actually at BONAR, and I'm saying all these laddies are playing here. I says, and we're going about facilities, and we've got all these grounds. We've got Newton Grange, Musselburgh, Trinent, Haddington, Bonnyrigg, every single, and all over Ayrshire, West Scotland, all decent facilities, all great wee grounds, and there's nobody playing on them, unless I've got an Astro. But there's nobody playing on all these facilities, and, like, how can they, like, maybe you've got to allocate the club 5 games a season or something, just to let the kids feel a part of it and see, like, well, there is something good here. It's not just like pitches that are all rutted and the council's not looking after them and things like that. Like even at Bingham, we've got, like, I take Portobello, we're at Bingham as well, and you've got to go and cut your own grass and line your own pitch and everything. We're unfortunate that we've not got that, like what Millfield and that's got. So these kids should be every so often getting a feel for, like, that's what we want to try and achieve at Haddington anyway, is get the kids on the pitch. Can let them feel it and get under the floodlights and all of that. Ken, there's no point in having floodlights if they're never on, eh? And we're playing on a Saturday, so if it's a Friday night, go and get your under 13s playing there. And I understand people want to look after their pitch, you can't go and hammer it, but if it's 5 games in a year, it brings everybody together again, because it's hard to, like, in Germany, it's so much community based, it's frightening, and it's like, they've had walking football for years. We're just starting to think about things. I think they were doing things, or over 35s, and I think it's called Alta Herren, like when you're over there. So like guys in 50 playing football and all that. So, but we played on Ash in the days, but they've changed that to AstroTurf. So you've got football for you in the morning, and then there's guys that just stand, and they always have a wee club. So it's a part of it, and everybody's, even if mums and bairns aren't playing, they'll just go along there, just because that's where everybody goes. So
I've started to have that development the last couple of weeks as well with the kids. Loads of kids coming down from the Haddington younger age groups. They're getting on at half time before the game, cheering the guys out, and it generates a spirit, and that's where they start having the love for the game and looking up to basically the first team as they're the best players they've seen type thing, rather than going to Hearts, Hibs and things like that. So no, it's good for these kids going along, and it's a great experience for them. They just absolutely love it. They can't wait to get back down on a Saturday. So then it brings the parents through and the grandparents come through. So. And it builds from there, and you get more people through the gate, which is terrific.
We see all their smiles on Saturday, eh? Like to them it was like they're playing in a World Cup game, eh? But it was probably like me, I'm jumping about like a lunatic, eh? But to see all the bairns kind of got their tops over their red, like it was just like euphoric, eh? So, and that's one thing that I got into coaching. I actually started coaching with Ryan, eh? Like, I don't know, nearly about that old, man.
I think.
Don't want to think about it.
It's to help people. So I'll never forget, like the first session I had, I went and got 10 cones, 10 balls for JJ, it was called JJ B Sports at the times, and I think they were about $1.99 a ball, and they gave me this clear plastic bag. I remember saying, what have I done here, eh? But like, I just wanted to help, because it was kids at the time that everybody had written off. My own son, my oldest son's 26, and he was doing all right at the time. So his team had went, and you get Pele, Maradonas and things like that, so it's different levels. So the Scots team was in the Pele, and they've played their Maradona and beat them, I don't know, 17-1 that night. And I just felt sorry for laddies at the end club. They already feel like there's a class system, because that happens naturally when it's another team. To then go and beat them 17, I felt sorry for them. So I started coaching to help folks. So when you see like that journey to Saturday, for all the things that I've been through, and people try to derail what you're doing, and the more successful you come as well. I mean, everybody's got like an opinion of you, and some people speak of you and I've never even had a conversation with you, but you've just got to accept that. But on Saturday, when I looked over just after the penalty, and everybody's running about, and there's all people with smiles, and people are all cuddling each other, that means more to me than anything, eh? Any result. So
it's the special moments, isn't it? So it's all about building that community spirit. So just as a final touch, obviously the Scottish Cup dream is still very much alive, but just for the both of you, how proud are you to be a part of, developing Haddington Athletic, their place within the community, and inspiring all these young children?
Yeah, definitely. It's when you see the way they've came. I've been fortunate enough to come in with Scott's probably done, I think I touched on the last time, the real hard work.
Done the groundwork.
Yeah, he's a good lad that way, he's got the man.
I'll
come in when the guys are winning,
Still
just to then carry on from there, it's a joy to be around, to be honest, as well. It's just a good blend, isn't it? With everything that's going on. The community's now gradually coming in and backing it. Some of the local businesses are coming to watch the games, and yeah, it's just good. And it's all mixed age groups as well. It's not just one area, so you're going to have the foundations, a good nice wee fan base for years to come as well, and it's going in the right direction. We
even had a meeting with the chairman, so they've got a new chairman of the youth section as well, and he's wanted to take the club forward, and he's thinking outside the box as well, and he's trying to get a lot of new initiatives and everything. So Haddington's got the facilities there that we could be like a massive club, and as I've keep saying, like, well, it's a big town as well, so there's loads of,
Grown.
it's grown
Yeah.
as well, like there's like all the houses in the surrounding areas, and then you've got the wee smaller areas round about it, so there's definitely something there that we can build and look to. You want to build a club that can get into the leagues, that's the way I think, and if that takes 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, then you just keep working towards that goal. Because when I first started, I tried to start a boys club, and everybody says that you wouldn't compete with your Hutchies and Tinies and things like that. Now we've won Scottish Cups and leagues, and all the laddies for Porty are going, like we've just, I think we're 10, 12, I've just went to pro youth clubs, to Hearts, Rangers, Hibs, like everybody, and they're now looking at other players that are there. So when I started that, people say that you would never achieve it, so you never let anybody tell you can't do anything, so you've just got to keep working hard, and then eventually, hopefully your philosophy comes through, and then it starts like bearing fruition, maybe like what's happening now, but there's still loads to go. Besides that, even it's like I says at the start of the season as well, I've not achieved anything.
Yeah.
Like all you've done is won a few games of football. You've never achieved anything, eh? You didn't achieve anything until you've maybe got a trophy in your hand. I says that to the captain, Gabriel. I says we want to create more memories like Saturday, but it'll only really mean something if you've got a trophy in your hand. And we've got to strive to want to have the trophies. And all the hard work or all the pain barriers that we've went through the last 3-4 years, hopefully one day, and I says to Drew as well, Drew's the chairman, I says to him a wee while ago, I says, Drew, I'm going to come over and shake your hand one day and say that like, there's one of the memories. And I think Saturday was that, somebody caught a picture, and that was like what I was saying to him. I says, I gave you a promise, so like there's the first one. So hopefully it can keep improving and then just see where it takes us for there. But the good thing is there's a lot of good players.
Yeah.
It's not just like there's some top players there. It doesn't matter if they're young, old, or whatever it is. We've flung them in when they were at the right age, and now they're really like they're doing well.
As well with the good players, we've got the right fit. You've picked good personnel as well, because sometimes you can get guys and misjudge it until they're in a change room. You think, what have I done here? Mm-hmm. But there's not one bad lad in there. It's probably very rare in a changing room. You know, they're all young, so they're all still probably going out together and stuff at the weekends and things like that. But
to be fair, right, and that's like what's coming through. I keep saying Portobello, but I'm there, or teams that I've had, they're all the same ilk.
Yeah.
They're all the same. And if you get them at a young age and you can maybe guide them and help with their personalities and that, and what happens is with the intensity of everything, you'll get ones that are good players, but they've not got the right minerals, so they'll maybe like, it'll be too hard for them, so they'll go away and think they're going to maybe something better, but then they find their level quickly because they've not had that coaching and things like that, so they just like hopefully some of them go higher, but like I'm talking about the ones that didn't go to pro youth and that, if they leave and maybe go to another boys club, and then you see them going to like maybe lesser teams because they've not got that structure that we're putting into them, and sometimes it is hard, but if you want to achieve it, like I keep saying, if you want to achieve anything in life, it is hard. Nobody comes to your door and knocks on your door and says, here you want and that, so you've got to try and push yourself and earn the right and have ambitions like that. Come from my dad made me really ambitious, so I want to put that into all the players, but that's what I mean, they're coming through in their busloads all the same type. It's like an army of them. I don't know if that was like, because I played in Germany, you're all disciplined and you're regimented, and it's like teamwork and structure, and like, so I've got all of that like philosophy as well, and you'll see that in the teams, like try to be really organised, and then that was one of the thing, like the aspects that I wanted Ryan to come involved, because I know that Ryan's very similar to myself, so he's adding wee bits in that as well, and it's getting more and more organised, and I just feel like it's a really good fit, and the players are buying into it, and they're getting more confidence, so they're putting more effort in for themselves now, even if they weren't buying into what we're saying, because they're seeing the fruits of themselves working hard now, and they're becoming better players. And we've just added another guy to the coaching team as well, so we want to, like, we've got a sprint coach in that as well, so, and there's other things, other ideas that I want to add, but I just want to do it in bite size and not try and turn the players off against anything that we're doing. So all these wee things make up to a big thing, and the guy that's came in as well, he's a really good guy as well, Gordon, so I will try, but that would be hard to do at this level, because a lot of guys will be like, I'm going to go over there and they're doing all these stupid stretches and exercises and running funny and all of that, but it will help them. So if we can help, like I can help them technically, we can get more knowledge into them, we can make them organised, give them shape, get them fit, but you can't make some of them run faster. So I was like that when I was at Hearts Academy. I used to say to myself, like, they're going about people can't run. Well, you've got a sports science, but they're going to tell them to train with a sprint coach for 12 weeks instead of releasing them because the laddie can't run. Try and, like, you've got to enhance every aspect of their game. So we want to introduce like that Haddington as well, and there's other things that I've got ideas as well. So, but we'll do that gradually as it moves on.
It's all coming together. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in for a chat. All the best against Brecon. Sure, we'll get you in before the end of the season. Hopefully still up there bidding for promotion. But thank you both very, very much.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.